Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's July Board of Education meeting. Happy summer. Hopefully you have gotten a great kickoff to your summer. Tonight's meeting is a bit different. Annually, we have the reorganizational meeting before we get to the regularly scheduled program of the business of the school district. And so before we get started with the reorganizational meeting, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so tonight we begin the reorganizational meeting with the oath of office to be administered to the newly elected trustees of the Board of Education. So Francine Benjamin, our district clerk, will administer the oath to the newly elected trustees of the board. Fran? Welcome to our new trustees. We know that you will value your time on the board just as much as those of us who have been here. We're excited to get started and to work all together. And many congratulations to you and to your families who are making a big commitment tonight by supporting your work here on the board and for the district. So congratulations again. Okay, we will take nominations for, yes. Oh, you're next. We can't forget you. Okay, next is the oath of office for the superintendent of schools. Okay, now we will take nominations for board president. Ms. Chang?
Okay, I nominate Tracy Frankel for board president.
Thank you, Ms. Chang. Are there any other nominations? Okay, that closes nominations. The first resolution is for Tracy Frankel to be elected president of the Board of Education effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Gershon, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. That carries. Thank you very much for entrusting me with this position. It is the greatest of honors to be able to be your board president, and I look forward to carrying that work forward this year with all of you. Okay, we will now take nominations for board vice president. May I have a nomination, please? Ms. Falco?
Oh,
I'd like to nominate Rob Gershon.
yes.
Hello? Okay. It is a tremendous honor to be nominated once again to be Vice President of the Syosset School Board. I've been fortunate to serve in that capacity for nearly 3 years now. However, I'm going to remove myself from consideration at this time for a couple of reasons. Work obligations, and I also feel that it is time for me to step down, recognizing that it's a good time possibly to have some new leadership, given that this is probably my final year as a board member. And I've given a lot of thought to this, and the board member who most deserves to be our next vice president, in my opinion, is Carol Chang. Carol, as you know, is in her second term as trustee and is a senior member of this board. She's smart, liked by all, and she's well-versed in school board policies and procedures. Prior to serving so capably as a board member, she was a past PTA president here in Syosset and council delegate. She has prior work experience in multicultural relations, finance, and management. A Syosset resident for nearly 20 years, she was the first Asian American to run and be elected and re-elected to this school board. We are now fortunate to have 2 Asian American trustees, one of Chinese descent and one of Korean, after Shani Park's inspirational campaign this past year. The Syosset community spoke loudly when they elected Shani with the most votes. Given that over 40% of our student population is Asian American, it makes complete sense, and I was happy to cast one of my 3 ballots for her as well. We now, though, have an opportunity to set an example for the Syosset students, parents, and faculty. Electing Carol Chang as vice president would make her the first Chinese American and the first Asian American to be an officer of the Syosset School Board. And as we focus on diversity and inclusivity as part of our curriculum and educational commitment, this board needs to lead by example. Installing Carol Chang as vice president would be an inspiration to all of the Asian American students, parents, faculty, and of course our community as a whole. Carol has what it takes to step in as a leader immediately. So it gives me great pride and honor, if I may, Ms. Frankel, to nominate my good friend, Carol Chang, to replace me as the next vice president of this school board. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other nominations for the role of vice president other than Carol, now that Rob has nominated her and removed himself from contention? Ms. Levitian.
I'd like to nominate Tom Rotolo.
Okay, are there any other nominations besides Carol Chang and Tom Rotolo? Okay, I'm closing nominations for the role of vice president, and we will take them in order of nomination. So the resolution number 2 is that Carol Chang be elected Vice President of the Board of Education effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 3 abstentions, I believe. 1, 2, 3. So I think it is 403? 403. Okay. Resolution number 2 is that Tom Rotolo be elected Vice President of the Board of Education effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Levitan, seconded by Ms. Kosia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, congratulations to Tom Rotolo on the election to the Board of Education's Vice President. We wish you lots of luck, and we look forward to working with you. And I just want to add to Rob, who's no longer going to be our Vice President, that your leadership has been absolutely tremendous, both to the board, but for me personally. You've been an asset to me as an officer, certainly. The trust between you and I have been really critical, as the role of an officer is very difficult, and I'm certainly going to miss working with you in this capacity, but I'm so glad that we have an extra year together. Okay, so you're welcome. The oath of offices for the president and the vice president, we can do one at a time. I can't hear. We can do it together. Yeah, Tom, you want to do it together? I, Tracy Frankel, do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the position of President of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability. Thank you. Okay, for resolution number 3, Francine Benjamin will be appointed to serve as the district clerk of the Syosset Central School District effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Gershon, seconded by Ms. Chang. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 4 is that Brian Cleary be appointed to serve as treasurer of the Syosset Central School District effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution numbers 5 and 6 can be taken together. They are the appointment of Carol Williams as District Deputy Treasurer and Central Treasurer, Extra Classroom Activity Account, effective July 1st, 2021 through July 12th, 2022, and Christine Garrity Yakuk be appointed to serve as District Deputy Treasurer and Central Treasurer, Extra Classroom Activity, effective July 12th, 2022 through June 30th, 2022. May I have a motion? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 7 is the appointment of Christine Payne as Data Protection Officer. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falkov, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 8 is that the district secures or carries a faithful performance bond. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Chang. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 9 is the adoption of policies of the Board of Education. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 10 appoints Mount Sinai South Nassau to provide services at School District Chief School Physician Health Related Services Group. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Ms. Falkov. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 11 appoints Dr. Ronald Marino as the Medical Director for the Public Access Defibrillator Program. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 12 appoints R.S. Abrams and Company as internal auditor. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 13 appoints Serini Associates as claims auditor. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falkov, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 14 appoints Cullen and Zanowski as an independent auditor. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution numbers 15 through 29 can be taken together. They are the annual appointments of purchasing agent, assistant purchasing agents, residency officers, attendance officer, records access officer, records management officer, asbestos officer and health and safety officer, chemical hygiene officer, 504 ADA compliance officer, Title IX coordinator, payroll certification officer to certify a civil service payroll report, officer responsible for receipt, collection, and review of certified payroll records, school officer to direct the execution of budget transfers on chief school officer's approval, and the transportation supervisor to recommend approval of employment bus drivers to the chief school officer. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 30 is the authorization for board members, superintendent, and designated staff to attend conferences and meetings. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Levitan, seconded by Ms. Kosia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 31 is the appointment of faculty auditor, extra classroom activity account. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falkov. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 32 authorizes Charlie Cardillo to waive fees for the use of facilities. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falkov, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 33 designates the banks for the district. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Gershon, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 34 and 35 can be taken together. They determine the board meetings, the budget meeting, budget hearing, annual district election, and vote declaring a meeting. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 36 designates the official newspapers. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Kosia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Mr. Greco, there is a terrible glare, so I don't know whether I'm seeing your hands or your shadow, so if you could do it high, I'll know. Thanks. Resolution number 37 establishes petty cash funds for each district school and district health office. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 38 establishes the mileage reimbursement. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 39 authorizes the superintendent of schools to apply for grants. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 40 authorizes Charlie Cardillo and Dr. Patricia Rufo as signatories for the district. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Levitan, seconded by Ms. Cosia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 41 appoints the law office of Ingram and Smith as attorney. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Gershon, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 42 appoints Ora Carrington and Sutcliffe as bond counsel. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Chang. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 43 appoints Munistat Services as fiscal advisors. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 44 appoints H2M Architects as district architect. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Ms. Cosia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 45 authorizes the district to enter into data security and privacy agreements and amendments. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We now move on to the monthly meeting of the Board of Education, and that concludes the reorganizational meeting. We will continue with a public hearing on the district-wide safety plan. Ed Escobar, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, will make a presentation for us. Mr. Escobar.
Thank you, Ms. Frankel. The District Safety Committee meeting met on Thursday, July 1st. We had district administrators, building administrators, Tracy Frankel, our security, Peter LaDuca represented Nassau BOCES. We discussed our district safety plan. We reviewed the plan. We discussed any changes that were coming for the school year. We discussed the plan and how specific aspects of the plan, the district safety plan, that it could be an outside threat, it could be something internal, like maybe like a gas leak or a heating issue. We discussed COVID-19, pandemic issues that came about, discussed evacuation drills, lockout drills, lockdown drills. But I think one of the interesting things that was brought up, and Peter LaDuca said that he was very impressed with our plan. Actually, he said that it was probably the best plan that he has seen and reviewed in Nassau County, is how we have taken very serious the idea of social emotional well-being and health of our students as we move forward, that's part of the district safety plan also. It's not just the systems that we have in place, which are excellent, and we review them constantly and consistently, but we believe that part of the plan and part of the safety plan happens to be our health and safety of our students. And what's very encouraging is that with the Dr. Rogers' support and the Board of Education support, that we're increasing, just as an example, we're increasing the number of social workers in our buildings, that is also something that helps with the safety of the entire school community, whether it's students, teachers, parents. We're in this together, and we have a system in place. So in a nutshell, we reviewed the plan, and now we present it to the board. We have a 30-day waiting period, and then in August, if everything goes okay, then it gets approved, and then it goes onto the website for a September 1st date.
Thank you, Mr. Escobar. Are there board members who have any questions with respect to the district-wide safety plan? Okay, since this is a hearing, if there is any member of the public who would like to come to the podium and ask questions specifically about the district-wide school safety plan, please do so now. Otherwise, this will be posted on the website, as Mr. Escobar said, for the next 30 days. And if there are any questions about this plan, please feel free to email the board or come to the next meeting. Thank you so much. Next is the approval of the minutes for the June 3rd, 2021 meeting. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falco, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Approval of the minutes of June 14, 2021. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Gershon. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the next item up for bid is the Treasurer's Report and Appropriations Status Report from Dr. Rufo.
The Treasurer's Report shows that the cash on hand for the month end May 31st, 2021 was $144,936,898.77. It shows that book balances were reconciled to the bank balances for all cash accounts, and all cash was collateralized in accordance with the district's banking agreements and investment policy.
Thank you, Dr. Rufo. Are there any questions for Dr. Rufo about the Treasurer's Report? Okay, may I have a motion, please, to accept the Treasurer's Report? Mr. Gershon, seconded by Ms. Chang. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Dr. Rogers, please grace us with your Superintendent's Report.
Thank you very much. Just want to update the board on a couple of initiatives that we've been talking about. We typically don't do presentations for you or introduce new initiatives during the summer, but I did want to talk a little bit about the Universal Pre-K grant that we received. As I mentioned at our last meeting, we issued a request for proposals, and the submittal date for that closes on July 22nd, so I'll have a report for you later this summer on whether there were any organizations that felt they had the capacity to serve the school district with some pre-K service. The grant amount on a per pupil basis is not high, so we're anxious to see what the response is to the RFP that we put out. I'm happy to report that summer school is underway as of today. I was there along with Mr. Cardillo at Arrival this morning and saw wonderful lot of children, 1,100 on the nose to be exact, children for summer school. And the first day is always a little unsettled because it's in the high school, and so many of the students who haven't been to the high school yet still need some help navigating the hallways. But by the second or third day, it'll all start moving very smoothly. So we're very excited to get that underway. We know that children are going to really benefit from some of the extra support and extra help, but also from the enrichment that occurs in summer school. We're very appreciative to our teachers for staffing the summer school this year, and we really see that being a wonderful lead into our program in the fall. Speaking of the program in the fall, I know I spoke to several parents this morning who are anxious to know what the rules are going to be in the fall and what we're anticipating. And I was disappointed to have to share with them that we are still awaiting guidance from the state. The existing guidance that is in place right now is the guidance that carried us through the end of the last school year. And there was supplemental guidance given to us for the summer school program, but we haven't gotten any guidance yet for what the fall will look like. So I'm unable to answer some questions about what classrooms will look like, what staffing will look like, et cetera, because we're still awaiting that guidance. But I do hope that we'll get it sooner. Earlier in the summer is better than later in the summer, obviously, for planning purposes. And as soon as we learn what that guidance looks like, we'll start to put a plan into action, and then we'll communicate with the public as soon as we start to feel confident that we've thoroughly built our plan. And then lastly, I just want to update the board. At your last meeting, you had a discussion about the Diversity and Inclusivity Task Force. You gave us some suggestions for how we could refine the mission and ways that we can go and seek additional participation in the task force. We're working on implementing those right now, and I hope to be, although we typically don't introduce new things during the summer, I hope to make this an exception and share something with you later this summer for your consideration at the August meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Are there questions from the board to Dr. Rogers with respect to his superintendent's report? Okay, thank you, Dr. Rogers. With respect to the Diversity and Inclusivity Task Force, I know that the board would like to continue that discussion in August, so hopefully we'll be able to get some suggestions from you and continuing our conversation during the discussion items for that board meeting. There is no correspondence. There are no legislative items. And so we begin audience to the public. You must be a resident to come up to the podium. And when you do, please address your name, give us your address, and put it down on the podium. There's a ledger there where you can fill that out. We don't talk about personnel, and we don't talk about students or specific incidents due to privacy laws. But we appreciate your time, and so when you come up, you'll have 4 minutes to address the board, ask us questions, or make comments. When we close out the first rounds of audience to the public and everyone has had an opportunity to ask their questions or make their comments, we will try to respond as best as we can to those comments or questions. And at that point, if anyone wants to come up for a second time, they'll have an additional 4 minutes to do so. With that being said, please come up for audience to the public if you have any questions. Okay, there are no questions today. That closes audience to the public. There are no discussion items today or unfinished business. As July is typically a light month, it is better to add these discussion items that we have to the August meeting so that more people in the community can receive them. So we will begin A items. A1 is the approval of staff changes for certified and civil service staff. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Gershon, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A2 is the approval of the 2021-2022 stipends and hourly rate activities. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A3 is the approval of coaching recommendations. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Cosia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A4 is an employment agreement amendment for the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Technology. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Gershon, seconded by Mr. Rotolo. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? A5 is the appointment of Charlie Cardillo as Interim Deputy Superintendent for Schools. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Mr. Gershon. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Mr. Cardillo, thank you for another year. You've been tremendous for us, and we're just grateful that you've agreed to stay on. So good luck in the upcoming year. A6 is the approval of the summer school teaching personnel memorandum of agreement. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Chang. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B1 is the recommendation for the Committee on Special Education. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B2 is the recommendation of the Committee on Preschool Special Education. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B3 is the approval of appointments to the Committee on Special Education. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Cosia, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B4 is the appointment to the Committee on Preschool Special Education. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B5 are the appointments to a Section 504 committee. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Gershon, seconded by Ms. Cosia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B6 is the appointment to the Building Subcommittee on Special Education. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B7 are the appointments to the Out-of-District Subcommittee on Special Education. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B8 is the establishment of school and public library tax levies for the Syosset Central School District 2021-2022. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Gershon, Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B9 is the approval of updated district-wide school health and safety committee. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Chang. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? B10 is the first reading of policies 0100, which is the equal opportunity, and 0105, diversity, equity, and inclusivity in education. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Park, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? This will be actually voted on in the August 16th, 2021 meeting. So this is the first read of that policy. Copies of this policy will be available for inspection on the district website. So we'll actually take a vote that counts next month. B11 is the approval of resolutions to declare a need to immediately adopt the revised petty cash policy. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Chang, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, C items are C1 is the authorization of service contracts. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C2 is the authorization for special education and or nursing contracts. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Cosia, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? Ms. Park.
There are many agencies doing similar work. Is it something that the parents choose to go to different agencies for the evaluations, or is the district assigning to them?
Yeah. I'm going to ask Dr. Lamelza to answer that question. If you wouldn't mind going to the podium, Dr. Lamelza.
So if I understood the question, it's not for evaluations primarily, it's mostly for services for out-of-district services, or to some extent in-district services, depending on the type of service. As I said, not particularly for evaluations.
And Dr. Lamelza, just how are the different agencies assigned? How are they selected? What's the process by which you identify the vendors that you're going to work with, and how you associate them with individual students based on what's in their IEP?
Well, again, it's really driven by the relationship that we develop with the agencies over the years, because we are very cognizant of the quality of the services. So, and we also try to have some fallback agencies, if you will, because oftentimes, especially during the course of the year, particular times of the year, you may have difficulty getting a particular service, particularly like an OT or a PT. We are well housed in district in terms of those related services, but sometimes we may need them, again, for out-of-district support, or even for homebound services. Sometimes students are not able to come. But, our mandate is to fulfill the IEP recommendations and levels of service. So we want to make sure we have an array of agencies.
And the specific agencies are assigned by your office
Correct.
to the individual students?
Correct.
Thank you. Does that answer your
Okay.
questions? Yep. Great. Thank you, Dr. Lamelza.
Are there any other questions on C2? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C3 is the authorization for participation in the Nassau County Director of School Facilities Purchasing Consortium. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C4 is the authorization to enter into amendments to license agreements and other agreements with Apple Inc. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Chang. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C5 is the authorization for board members, superintendent, and designated staff to attend conferences and meetings. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Falcove, seconded by Ms. Park. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C6 is the authorization to standardize purchases. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Ms. Falcove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C7 is the authorization to enter into agreements for transportation contracts for field trips and other individual events. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Cosia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C8 is C8 through C10 can be taken together. They're cooperative purchasing through Omnia. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Cosia, seconded by Mr. Gershon. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C11 is the award of Nassau County Director of School Facilities Purchasing Consortium cooperative bids for the 2021-2022 year. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Rotolo, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C12 is the authorization to appoint Hamburger, Max, Sinyafi, and Martingale. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Levitan, seconded by Ms. Cosia. Are there any questions? Mr. Rotolo.
It's not general real estate matters. It's a really specific situation where if there is a boundary dispute with a neighboring school district, what does that mean? In New York State, if there is a property that exists in two school districts, when that property is sold and changes hands, the new owner has the choice of which school district the children will attend, and therefore which school district their school tax portion of the property tax bill will go to. So even if 1 inch of that property is in one school district, that law applies. So sometimes there are disputes over whether a school district is in, whether real property is in both school districts or if it exists entirely in one. So several of our neighboring districts are represented by the same attorneys we are, so they are conflicted out from representing either one of us. So this gets a third-party attorney to represent us in the event that that happens. That did happen recently. Our position in the case was successful in that case. We were paid attorney's fees in that particular case, not a huge amount. But if that case is appealed, then these attorneys would serve us in the appeal. If that case isn't, excuse me, if that case isn't appealed and there is some other boundary dispute with one of those school districts where we share attorneys, then they would be the attorneys of record for us.
Are there any other questions on C12? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C13 and 14 can be taken together. They are the award of bids for scoreboards and dust collection system. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Cheng, seconded by Mr. Greco. Are there any questions? Mr. Rotolo?
With the dust collection, can you explain how that came about? Or what?
Yeah, so this is a dust collection system that will be permanently installed in the technology rooms at the high school. So when you think about those rooms, there are saws and sawdust being created. So these are dust extraction systems that remove sawdust from the air so students aren't inhaling them.
Are there any other question for C13 and 14? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? C15 is the approval of a donation of picnic tables. May I have a motion, please? Ms. Cheng, seconded by Ms. Felkove. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? And that concludes our July reorganization and public meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Rotolo and Ms. Falco. Okay, good night, everyone. Board members, please stay. We have some things to sign.